Okay, party people, what's going on? JV Wins, Dogon SS. We are here for another edition of the Conscious Approach channel on YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you interacting with us and all the videos that we have here on the channel. As you can see, Dogon SS is on location from the city of birth down in Miami. But this train don't stop rolling, so we'll continue to crank out this logical content. Shouts out to everybody who has joined the tribe, man. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for hitting that like button. We certainly appreciate it. As a reminder, man, if you ever have any time, go ahead and let us know what you think about the commentary in any of our videos, man. Go ahead and leave that comment. But be that as it may, thank you so much for joining the tribe, man. We certainly appreciate it as we continue to grow this community. Had a good week on the channel last week. We are almost up to 500, which, isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things in terms of the internet, but it's significant for us because a win is a win is a win, right? So with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and get right into it. The first thing that we are going to touch on this week are interesting comments made by Nicki Minaj. At this point, we pretty regularly talk about topics related to music and the music industry because we do believe here at Conscious Approach that things such as music and sports do reflect in a microcosm things going on in the world at large or in society and culture. Plus, we did grow up listening to the music, so we are certainly not shy to commenting on what's going on with the music, the business of the music industry, or just the culture around it, period. And Nicki Minaj recently talked about some of the aspects of the music industry today that she is displeased with. In particular, she feels as though the music industry, in a rush to replace her with female rappers who are not talented and who cannot rap, has contributed to a decline in the quality of the product, which has in turn contributed to a decline in support for the music overall. But do not let me speak for Nicki Minaj. I'll go ahead and let Nicki Minaj speak for herself. So Nicki made these comments, and she had someone respond to the comments that she made. Jess Hilarious, who is a black female comedian, she's pretty popular on the internet. Particularly on Instagram. She's been on the Breakfast Club and whatnot. She responded to what Nicki Minaj had to say. But first, we're going to get into what Nicki Minaj said. So this article says, Nicki Minaj blasts industry for weak state of female hip hop. Jess Hilarious responds. Nicki Minaj recently stirred up a firestorm by speaking on the current state of female hip hop, one she feels quite disappointed by. Moreover, she recently called out the music industry for, in her opinion, signing female rappers with subpar rapping ability in order to replace her. Of course, the Trinidadian MC has a lot to say on this subject and has plenty of good reason to right now, if not for the fact that she's promoting her new album Pink Friday 2. On that album, she also tears into other femcs and the hip hop game as a whole. So she's just relaying what she already spit. But the 41-year-old definitely ruffled some feathers here and spoke on people who don't know music being authorities. Ruffled some feathers here and spoke on people who don't know music being authorities on it, addressing a topic that is much bigger than just her. So here is what Nicki Minaj had to say. Be the judge of what she had to say.
More important. Rap should sound like fucking rap. That's y'all fucking problem, and that's why all of the record labels are, not all, but some are scrambling so bad because they about to go fucking bankrupt. Because they was trying so bad to replace this one bitch. And when you water something down, you lose the quality, which then loses the investors and investments because it's not bringing back any profit. And that is why people who do not understand rap are judging rap Why? It's because same way y'all used to get mad and say, who's actually voting for the Grammys? Well, guess what? You have no idea. And most people voting for most awards don't listen to that kind of music that they're voting. Most people speaking on music don't actually listen to the kind of music they're speaking on.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah, scathing. Uh, I don't know why these people when they, but I don't get it. I don't, and this is obviously an aside, but I don't know how you can like get on a live and not have your phone charged. I noticed that. Like these famous people be getting on these live streams and doing their thing, and they got the little notification popping up, 20% battery left. Like charge your battery, yo. And then further down it says here, Jess Hilarious chimes in. Meanwhile, comedian, radio host, and the Breakfast Club alum Jess Hilarious had this to retort with, quote, but you're purposefully doing features with these girls that can't rap. She wrote in the comment section of the Neighborhood Talks coverage of Nicki's statements, you never put somebody that can actually rap on your shit. So you're in fact helping the labels replace you for blah 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 blah. So that was Jess Hilarious's retort to what Nicki Minaj had to say, basically calling her out for being a hypocrite because Nicki is saying the industry is putting on the forefront a bunch of these bad female rappers, and Jess Hilarious is like, well, if that's so true, then why do you keep collaborating with and putting these same bad rappers who you claim that the industry is trying to replace you with on your very own music? So, a lot to dig in there, obviously. But what do you make of Nicki Minaj's comments and then Jess Hilarious's response to those comments?
I think Nikki, the irony about this whole situation, because it's ironic, which makes it hilarious, uh, for her just absolutely being oblivious to what's going on in the room. Uh, this clearly shows self-absorption from her in the sense that she's just living in her own bubble in her own world. But uh, I would also throw her in the pot of people who can't rap. Now, hang on. So there's a thing where technically people can rap. So flow, cadence, be that as it may, whatever, right? Bars, if you will. Uh, there's like it's kind of like NBA basketball where these guys can shoot good, they can dribble good, jump out the gym, all this other good stuff. But that doesn't those types of skills doesn't make you a good basketball player. So the same thing goes for being an artist, in my opinion. So for her flow, cadence, and all that stuff, those are top tier when it comes to industry standards. So she's pretty good when it comes to that skill wise. But when it comes to actual substance, what are you talking about? She talks about everything that these other women talk about. So I really find it ironic that she is blaming these other women who basically are her children for diluting and watering down rap. And this is where her narcissism, her being lost in the room and not reading the signs, is that she doesn't think she's a part of that crowd, which in actuality she really is. And that's just on that level. Then when what Jess Hilarious said, well, be that as it may, I'll grant you that you're a top tier MC. Even if you're top tier MC, why are you collaborating with these, you know, lot lizards? Why are you doing this? If your moral high ground is so high, you have so much integrity as an artist, why are you collaborating with the ABC short bus rappers? So I understand it's frustrating that you are being replaced. That is Nicki Minaj. I understand that it is frustrating for her, but at the same time, she was a cash cow in her time, and now the new machine has found a new form of cattle, and she can't be upset that she's no longer considered prime rib or or Angus. She's down there with the grade F meat that belongs in Taco Bell, servers, whatever. So, yeah, I just think that this is the pot calling the kettle black. I feel as though she has her own hand in the demise of hip hop in the last decade or so. It was already in a downward trajectory. I feel as though her weight actually helped propel it even further down. So, what about you, bro? What are your thoughts on the irony from Miss Nicki Minaj here and Jess Hilarious calling her out for it?
Yeah, all of that part. It is funny, and I find the lack of self awareness on the part of people like her, people like this, very fascinating. Like how dug in your hole, and how like accustomed to being in your own echo chamber do you have to be to maintain this level of a lack of self awareness? There's two aspects of this that you can look at it, right? So there's two angles going on. There's what Nicki Minaj is talking about in terms of the state of music and the state of female rap and blah 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 blah. And then there's also the other aspect of the business of the music industry. So first we can just tackle the easy one, which is the irony inherent in her words, because you're absolutely correct. Um, you birthed a lot of what you have a problem with. Like what we see happening in female rap in particular is homogenized content. Yes, I don't dig into the crates. I'm not on Spotify digging into the crates, listening to the indie rap artists. I'm going off of what I hear mainstream. I'm going off of what I hear on radio. I'm going off of the artists that I see featured on all of the black media shows and the podcasts and on the YouTube shows. That's what's forming what I call popularized hip hop, popularized rap. And the content from the majority of these female rappers is consistent with what I think is a sound that Nicki Minaj was a part of creating. So she gave birth to a lot of the rappers who today spend the majority of their time musically talking about how their vagina is for sale to the highest bidder, how you cannot be in the vicinity of their vagina if you don't make a certain amount of money, and how their time and attention is there's a valuation on their time and attention. And it's no broke dudes allowed. That's the majority of female rap. Is that correct or not? So she was a part of creating that distinct sound. Now she can argue that she was perhaps better at doing it. If she wants to make the claim that she has more bars, more talent, more rapping ability when it comes to that, I'll entertain that discussion. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the content, or to use your word, the substance, is consistent with this. It just might be a little more diluted now because you have more people doing it, and the abundance, or rather the overabundance of the artists who are doing it, are more talentless. So it's diluting something that was already starting from a place of dilution to begin with. So in retrospect, it's very ironic to hear her talking about the state of female rap and the music industry being diluted, when it's at least in small part diluted because of the sound that she helped to curate in the first place. So that's the easy thing. Now, to the more complicated issue about the music industry in general, or maybe it's not that complicated. Maybe it is actually pretty simple. And shouts out to you because you put me up on this. Because going back years, whenever we used to talk about music, and when we started doing these videos and we would touch on music issues, like I was always in my mind looking at it from the standpoint of the artist. And I was always looking at it from the artist perspective. And I was always saying the music industry is continuing to deteriorate because the good artists are leaving and they're just being replaced with artists who aren't as good. I was always looking at it from the angle of the artist. And you hit me to the idea that what you hear and what gets put out in terms of the business of the music is a strategic effort that is largely backed by the largest people who can finance what they want to put out there. So it caused me to go in and do my research on how the music industry works. And I did my research and I learned that the music that you hear is not a result of what's popular or who's good or lack thereof. It's basically a pay to play game. Whatever artist gets put out there and has the most money getting put behind them, that's the music that you're going to hear. So I always used to think the people are dictating the music that gets played. In other words, the people are telling the industry, we like this kind of music, so give us more. And the industry is in turn saying, oh, this is what you guys want to hear? Sure. Here's more artists who play this kind of stuff, who make this kind of music. But no, that's not actually what it is. Now what's going on is the industry is telling us what we want to hear, and we're just responding to it. So all of these vagina rappers who are flooding the market, who are flooding your ears with this box rap, it isn't because the streets are saying, give us more of that. It's because the music industry is saying, give them more of that. And the labels are putting more money behind those artists who make that kind of music. And what you get as a result is a reverse engineering of popular music, particularly in this genre. So it's a pay to play game. It's a money game. Nicki Minaj was once a recipient of this.
Yes.
When Nicki Minaj first came out in the late 2000s, she was the one who had a bunch of money being pumped behind her and had her in the forefront and had all of her music skyrocketing to the top of all of the charts. She was the one who was replacing the previous, guard behind her in terms of female rap. So this is a cyclical thing. And what she is seeing happening right before her very eyes is the next round of bad music that is being paid for by record labels and such. And the market is being flooded with their bad music, the Ice Spices of the world, and the City Girls and Megan Thee Stallions and the Pink Pantheresses and Rennie Rucci's and Kim the Mans of the world. We're not asking for this. The labels are saying, put their music out there. Here's however much it costs, pay to play. And so Sirius XM, all of the stations, all of the podcasts, they're being paid to have these artists on their platform. It's a money game.
Correct.
And Nicki Minaj was once a recipient of this. So she can get upset all she wants, but this is merely her blowing smoke at a machine that no longer cares about her because it's moved on to the next generation of crop that they can pay to put in front of your face. So, I mean, it's sour grapes. And I feel what Jess Hilarious is saying. It's like, put your money where your mouth is. If this was so important to you and you really cared about the integrity of the music, and more specifically the integrity of the female rap game, then feature female rappers on your own stuff who are actually about that rap life, instead of making, whatever songs you make with some of these other female rappers you got featured on your stuff here. So, two angles obviously that you can approach it from, but I think that it's just sour grapes on her part. She once benefited from the very same thing that she's complaining about, and now that she can no longer benefit from it because the machine is aging her out of the process, she feels some type of way about it.
Yeah, I mean, just hop on the track with, Jean Grey or Rap City and hold your own. Hold your own. Let's see what you got as far as bars. Because just for those two in particular, if you ask them to give you, a song, a 16, they can rap better than a lot of dudes. So Nicki, if you top tier female artist, the baddest bitch in the game, why don't you rap with real rappers? But she's not going to do that. And point well taken, man. She was definitely an industry plant. That's a term that people are using nowadays. But if you want to superimpose this and look back in the past, not just because that's a contemporary term, people are using that now. But if you look back and look at all the industry plants that were given to us, Nicki Minaj is one of them. I remember, man, I think it was 2009, where she was really like, stepping in there. And I remember it was a Yo Gotti song, and she was featured in there. I can't remember. If you guys remember, put it in the chat. But I'm sitting there listening to it, and I was like, yo, she can flow. Like, this isn't bad for a feat, because at the time there wasn't any female industry rappers out there. And so she came in and snapping. Outside of her snapping, in the status quo form of snapping in the industry terms, so she wasn't saying anything of substance. But I'm looking at her and I'm going, whoa, look at her. And so the girl that I was talking to at the time, she took offense to what I was saying, but I'm about to say what I said then. And I said, this woman's going to be a problem. And then she was like, what do you mean by that? And I was like, well, she can rap and she looks good. So she thought that I meant that she looks good, like I think she looks good. I wasn't talking about, because at that time, her body didn't look natural, but it looked clean. She had honestly one of the best BBLs in the early 2000s. And so she was looking crisp. And so I'm like, who paid for that surgery? Who paid for her to be in my face like this? Like, what's going on with this? She's on every song after that. Her other stuff starts blowing up. She's in everybody's feed. And my prediction came true. This woman was a problem. Fast forward 14, 15 years later, now she has children she's complaining about that are following the same blueprint that you mentioned, that these labels are just force feeding these people to us. The Ice Spices, the Sukihanas.
Yeah.
I don't think 3,000 Bodies. I don't think she's I don't think no labels behind her, because she's not. I don't hear any of her songs. But the other girls, yeah, man, they on the radio and they're getting spins. And so yeah, I think that this is just chicken's coming home to roost for her. I don't know, like you said, I don't know how far down in her own echo chamber that she is, that she can't even read the writing on the wall, that these major labels are the ones that gave her shot. Now, if you guys look back at those old footages of Nicki when she was just, just, whatever she's from in New York, rapping, and, similar to Meek Mill with his dirty braids, this is pre-BBL. She was just trying to spit bars. But as soon as Universal Records or whatever Cash Money's affiliated with, as soon as that entity got their hands on her, I'm pretty sure that's part of her advance money and all that stuff was to give us this plastic body she has. So, yeah, man, they have a whole formula for this type of stuff. Now they've, we still got our BBLs, but now it has, devolved into strictly ratchet back page rappers. These girls are just former back page women who picked up a microphone. That's what it sounds like. They're talking about oral copulation on men's sphincters, and that's part of the that's part of dropping bars now. So, I mean, on one hand, I can't agree with it that this stuff is trash, but she was the I don't want to say pioneer, because she definitely picked up where Kim and Foxy Brown them left off. But as far as the new age thing that everybody was following, yeah, Nicki, look in the mirror. So a bunch of hot air from this woman. Can't really buy anything she's saying right now. Of course, she's frustrated because her bag is probably slipping. But hey, chicken's coming home roost. It was only a matter of time before this caught up with her, and it seems like it has.
Yeah. She's certainly not a pioneer. Like, I don't want to make it seem as though she's the first one to do box rap. Yeah. But I think that, her generation is the generation that directly coincides with the industrialization of hip hop. Like, because it was making money and growing prior to her, obviously,
Mhm.
but it truly became industrialized, I believe, in my opinion, starting in the 2000s all the way through that decade, the 2000s. And that's what coincides with the start of her career. So I think her place in it is she directly coincides with the capitalization and the industrialization of the genre, the effort to turn it into a major genre and make it a pay to play game. Her generation of artists directly coincides with that element really taking hold in terms of the music itself. So no, she isn't a pioneer, but her generation is lightning in a bottle. It's a result of perfect timing.
Mhm.
And all you have to do is follow the money. Because that whole, I mean, Wayne is same with Wayne, Drake,
Yeah.
that young money machine, cash
Yep.
money, they had a lot of money to spend.
Yep.
Birdman, that's a lot of money behind that. And if you have a lot of money, you can see to it that your music gets a lot of spins because it's a pay to play game. And they're not the only ones who are able to do that. So, all of the other artists who are backed by labels with that capability are going to be the ones who are the most in front of your face as well. So, what we're looking at here is the business of hip hop, not the music of it. And Nicki Minaj is still talking as though we're still dealing with the music of it, and we are well past that point. This is all pay to play. It's all about business. And I'm looking at her Pink Friday 2 catalog here because you know what's gonna happen is you're gonna have people who get into the comments and say we're ignorant and we don't know what we're talking about because we ain't familiar with her music, blah blah blah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've made it very clear that I am talking about popularized rap. The majority of the listenership does not dig into the crates on Nicki Minaj's album cuts. What moves the people in the culture is the music that you hear the most, which is what you're going to get in the podcast, social media, Spotify world. So, for all of y'all who want to give us that, you can, take it somewhere else. But for the sake of being reasonable, I'm looking at the Pink Friday 2 track listing here. The vast majority of the songs are her by herself. It's 22 songs, and I don't see no box rappers in her songs. So she's got J. Cole is on there, Drake is on there, Wayne is on there. She's got Uzi Vert on there. She's got Lourdes, who's like a pop, she's like a vocalist, a young girl. And then you got other people who I've never heard of, like Skillenberg, Skang. I don't know who that is. Future is there. Tasha Cobbs Leonard, not sure who that is. But maybe now she's trying to do, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what Nicki Minaj does moving into the future. I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying for the sake of argument, I don't see Megan Thee Stallion here. I don't see Cardi B here. I think she got beef with them anyway, so I guess they probably wouldn't be on here anyway.
Exactly.
I don't see no JT, no Young Miami. I don't see no Ice Spice. I don't see none of the typical box rappers that you hear on the radio all day talking about how their time and vagina is for sale to rich guys. So even though I do think she was a part of what helped to really put that sound out into the ether, and I just think a lot of these female rappers out now, these female rappers who she claims are watering down the sound, took the baton from her and ran with it, and they just put it on steroids. So sour grapes, I think she was a part of that initial formula. It is what it is, but this is business as usual when it comes to this music stuff. Look no further than following the money. That's all this is about. And her being upset about this is merely an indication of her seeing that the music industry has decided that they can no longer profit off of her as much as they can off of these new age box rappers.
Yep. And last thing I'll say, man, and as you mentioned, the industry has decided that we don't even need fundamental skills anymore. So you don't need to really know how to dribble for real, shoot for real, or anything like that. We're just going to make you the biggest star out there. And, and you guys can look at, the rise of Tekashi 6ix9ine. And, no skill whatsoever when it comes to actually rapping. They don't care. The arrogance of this industry has gone into overdrive. And then now we can see this with the latest form of box rappers that don't even have a flow, cadence, or anything. They're just yelling into the mic. My box is hot. My box is hot. Yeah, girl, you burning. So yeah, man. So it is what it is with this industry stuff. But you hit the nail on the head, man. This is a product of the industry moving along, not so much of copycats coming and watering down the game. This is the industry handpicking back page women and telling them to get on the track. So point well taken. Point well taken.
Yeah. Shouts out to Nicki. Good luck. Just I don't know, get in holla at Snoop Dogg. We're gonna talk about him a little later. You know, you diversify your bonds because I think that this is just a sign of the music industry uh, leaving you behind. And that's what happens. So it is what it is, man.
Facts.
Oh. Okay, next up, we're going to talk about Cam Newton. I thought that this was very interesting and funny. So, Cam Newton is on his way to having his seventh child by his third baby mama. For anyone who does not know, Cam Newton has been dating a woman named Jasmine Brown since 2021. She is a comedian. I've never heard of her as a comedian. I've never heard of her. I didn't know she was a comedian, but she's a comedian apparently. Uh, she's pregnant with Cam Newton's next kid, and she is making jokes about it herself. She's making light of the situation because she knows that people are going to do it anyway, because she is his third baby mama and going to be the mother of his seventh kid. So, interesting sound here that we are going to play of a recent set that she did. As you can see, she is very pregnant there. She's wearing his Carolina Panthers jersey, which that's also, shouts out. I guess she's holding it down. But here's her talking about how people can't really throw stones at her for getting into it and being the third baby mama and mother of baby number 7, because you never know what kind of decision that you'll make when put in the same position.
If y'all don't know, I'm the third one, and this is his sixth child. Someone said, ooh. Right, couldn't have been me. All right, till the rich nigga put that pressure on you. I could never do it, nobody. Okay. Until $100 million put the pressure on you, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Talking about what you'll never be. Bitch, you ain't never had.
Oh.
Oh, you better than me? I am. What the hell? And that's crazy as shit. It's so funny because he was talking back at a couple of people. He was talking back at a couple of people in the comments too, which was great. I was like, yeah, man, get them. Can't nobody read your font, but
Wow.
So, and then for a little bit of, because we are in the age of the internet, right? So here is how she is parlaying this into essentially having her career be able to take advantage of it. So she has these
What?
she's on yeah. So she's going around because she's I guess she's on tour, and the name of the tour is Third Time's a Charm, which is obviously a play on the fact that she is going to be Cam Newton's third baby mama. So she's leaning into it. Third Time's a Charm tour coming to a comedy stage near you, link in bio. So she's leaning into it, which I'm not surprised by that. I mean, this is 2023, about to be 2024, and the internet. Brown's announcement includes a picture of her proudly showing off her baby bump for the first time in the photo. She holds up 3 fingers next to the words Baby Mama 3. The tour poster reveals upcoming dates in Charlotte, Miami, shouts out, and Chicago throughout December.
What?
So, yeah, and I misspoke there. So, correction, it's Cam Newton's 6th kid, not 7th. Cam Newton's 6th kid. She is baby mama number 3. But what do you make of her making light of this situation. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh boy. Oh man. Listen, bro. Like, there's this rhetoric going around like, hey, get your bag. Get your bag. And like you said, this is, 2023, new wave, new way, make your money however you can make it. This, I want to be upset at this. I do. I don't. For something about this don't feel right. But at the same time, if I know Cam Newton, how I think I know Cam Newton, and from the little bit that I've seen from this woman, I'm pretty sure they're all okay with this. I don't think Cam finds this distasteful. I feel like he knew he was dealing with a comedian. Felt like he knew he was dealing with somebody who's air quote an influencer or a position of status, notoriety herself. I'm with you, bro. I've never heard of her before. I think I've seen her face before, but if somebody said it by name, I would have lost that trivia challenge. So I don't know who this person is, but Cam obviously does. He obviously rocks with her enough to drop off in there. From what I've seen from her on stage, her wearing that dress, because pregnancy can throw things off. So you can see she's got a hump back there. So I can see,
yes,
I can see why she funny, she getting money, she got a hump back there. Yeah, let's do this. On some Nick Cannon stuff. So I can't really be upset with this. But the part about this that does rub me the wrong way is the opportunisticness of this, if that's a word. For her to go, got him. She's clearly very pregnant, as you mentioned. So this was in the works, as she's pregnant. I don't think she premeditated this beforehand. But as it's going down and she's realizing that she can make a play on this, I feel like she's taking that opportunity. And that's the part about this that feels a little but hey man, y'all live y'all life. Cam Newton and Miss Jasmine Brown, y'all do what y'all do. I don't know what the long ball game of this is, but to me it seems a little bit distasteful to to name your tour third time's a charm. I feel like that's a little, so to me, I don't know, it's pushing it just a little bit. But last thing I'll say, and I'll let you go. One thing about life, man, and humanity is that over the last few hundreds of years, I would say, things have really changed as far as people's perspective of what's really important in life and what we're supposed to be doing down here as humans. And so in this case, men, I think that in the past, I think in the past that, men that had, financial, stability, and had enough, they could have as many wives as they can financially support. And by doing that, by achieving so many things down here to be in that position, the reward is you get women and children and all that other stuff. And I think that if we look and we compare that type of mindset to more contemporary types of doing things, who says that he has to get married? He does have apparently enough finances to fund another baby mama and a sixth child. So I think he's comfortable with this. I think he's comfortable where he's at. He wants to do this. And the last thing to tie all this in is to prolong legacy. You can say one thing, you can have bodies of work as far as art and all that other stuff, but I think one of the more precious types of commodities that you can bring into this world is a child, extending your own DNA. So for him to be going out here and doing this because he's achieved enough, so to speak, taking this a little old school, but achieved enough, so to speak, so he could put more of himself into the world. I don't necessarily see anything wrong with that logic either. So people would like to, throw stones perhaps at Cam Newton or or Nick Cannon, but I think what they're doing is they want to see themselves in the world uh, and proliferate like that. So, hey, man, this is a to each their own type of thing. I know me personally, I would be a little, uncomfortable with the woman that I thought that we were chilling with to go turn this into a bag. It's a little weird to me. But what about you, man? What are your thoughts on the Cam Newton baby mama number 3, Jasmine Brown, on stage creating a whole set just to describe that she's just another baby mama?
I hear that point with Cannon because I think it's become clear with Cannon that he's doing this on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But to that last thing that you talked about, that is all assuming that Cam Newton is approaching this with the same mentality as Nick Cannon, and I don't know that. I don't know that. For all I know, Cam Newton can just be a guy who just doesn't
off.
care and just busts, yeah, and he's just letting off. Right, exactly. So I'm not going to give Cam Newton that much credit because I don't know what his mentality is on family values. I don't know what they are. Nick Cannon has told us he is doing this on purpose. Like Nick Cannon, without saying it exactly, has pretty much publicly admitted to being a polygamist. So that makes sense for Cannon. I don't know about Cam Newton, but I will also say that, and this isn't for this type of lifestyle is not for me personally. I'm not going to be running around letting off in all of these different women. I got too many seeds spread out all over the place. Like that's not for me personally. It's not for me personally, but if there is any condition under which it's the most ideal for you to maintain this kind of lifestyle, it is if you have the kind of net worth that those two guys have. So just speaking at it purely from a practical standpoint, it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense if you feel this way about life to do it when you are able to position yourself financially for it to make sense. The rest of Dusties and Crusties out here doing this without that kind of financial infrastructure, that to me makes no sense whatsoever. But my interpretation of this is honestly, I was like, I don't even know if I want to get mad at this. I kind of respect where she's coming from. I honestly do, because I feel like she's being honest.
Yeah.
And what I respect about her position that I can't stand about most of these modern ladies of the evening out here, we talked about it last week. We talked about Rennie Rucci and Kenda Man and how they tried to legitimize why they can't date men who are 9 to 5 or average, quote unquote, even though I hate that word. And you tried to apply some kind of logic behind what they're doing, and I heard where you were coming from, but I felt as though you were giving them more credit than they deserve, because I think in their heart of hearts they're not thinking it that far through. They're just trying to make themselves seem less like a slore by putting some sort of logic behind why they go for men with money, when at the end of the day they just want dudes with money, and that's as far as they think it through. And I really feel like I would respect a lot of these chicks more if they just didn't try to make it seem like there's some sort of wisdom behind this thing. Like, put it out there on Front Street. Y'all are attracted to men with money. You want the men with the money. That's what you want, period. Don't tell me that you want the guys with money because men with money are less insecure, because that's a lie. Men with money are not less insecure. Don't tell me that you want to get a guy with money because he's most likely to, I don't know, some of the other things that they talk about. He's not going to blow their spot up. He's where he out there getting money, so he ain't going to be checking up on me. That's not true. There's men who aren't rich who are not going to check up on you, and there's men who are rich who are going to stay blowing up your set. So these false equivalencies, these faux rationalizations are not real, and they bring these things up so that they seem reasonable, but in fact, at the end of the day, they just want dudes with money. And you talk all the time about how women pay lip service to the idea that they care about being cheated on, but you question the legitimacy of those claims, because when push comes to shove, if they have to make a choice between leaving a guy who gives them a lifestyle that they like or dealing with the cheating and staying with them, a lot of times they deal with the cheating and stay. So if you don't, so you question how much they actually care about being cheated on. And I'm with you on that. I agree. I question that as well. You got a lot of them who will sit here and talk about how cheating is a non-negotiable. But if you with a rich dude and he puts that pressure on you, like she said, what you gonna do? Give up all of that because he, has sex with another chick? No, you're gonna stay there because you like the lifestyle more than dislike the fact that he cheated on you. So I hear where she's coming from, and I'm with it, because she's literally saying, "Hey, this dude got three. I'm the third baby mama. This dude got 5 kids. He's about to be the sixth, the father of a sixth child by me. I am baby mama number 3. But hey, Cam Newton got that cash. Cam Newton got that bag. How much money did he play during? How much the Carolina Panthers paid him when he got the big payday? When I think it was like a $60 million contract, and this was like 10 years ago, before we saw quarterbacks making 165 $200 million now. Back then, that was resetting the market. You know what I'm saying? When the Panthers paid Cam Newton his contract, he reset the market with that. This is a wealthy man. And so she's sitting there saying, "Hey, this wealthy dude was checking for me. I wasn't thinking about how many kids and baby mamas he got. It was open season for him, because intrinsically I'm looking at the bag that this dude got, and I couldn't say no. It was a deal that I could not. It was an offer I couldn't refuse." And she's just being real about that, and I respect the honesty, even though I am not the biggest fan of that being the state of play, albeit the fact that I understand it. But a lot of these chicks need to follow behind her, because if there's one thing that her and people like Brittany Renner can teach us, it is that these chicks can talk the most craziest, reckless stuff publicly that they want. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They got the looks, the pretty face, they got the body, they post the right kind of pics on Instagram. They're still going to get these dudes anyway. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how reckless they talk. These dudes will still line up to date them. So there's no incentive to lie or be dishonest about it. Y'all just want dudes with bags. Don't give me these ridiculous rationalizations behind why you want dudes with bags. Y'all intrinsically like men with money, rich men. Like, put it out in the open. Let's just be real about it. You know what I'm saying? You want me to give you a rationalization for why I like women who have big booties, fat asses? No. Intrinsically, I like a woman with curves. Let's just leave it at that. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I like women with fat asses because it suggests fertility and I want children. No, it's a carnal instinct. It's a carnal instinct. I just like a chick with a fat ass, period. Like, these rationalizations are crazy. And so I can't be mad at this, because she said what I wish the two slurs from last week said. And she said what I wish so many of these other ladies, modern day prostitutes out here, who want to give us these ridiculous reasons for why they need a dude who's 6'4", who at least makes $500,000 a year. These chicks believe this. And it ain't just famous chicks, it's regular chicks. They believe this stuff. I need my dude to be 6'4", make at least $250,000, $300,000 a year, as if these guys grow on trees. And it's like, don't rationalize this stuff. Be real with it. And I cannot be anything but respectful of the fact that she just said it. Hey, I'm not thinking about none of this. This dude was rich and he put that pressure on me. And that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, and to your point, when it comes to the women that are just willing to, because you had made a point when you're talking about last week's topic, when you were saying that the guy that has the bag is less insecure versus the guy that doesn't is more insecure. And it's kind of the same thing with this when we're dealing with baby mamas, because there's a guy in the trap right now I mean, he barely has a job. He barely has any income, but he got 4 baby mamas. And there's some chick willing to sign up to be the 5th. And it has nothing to do about a bag per se, unless she wants to run to the government and get that kind of bag. But she's not getting a bag from him per se. So we still, as above, so below. I mean, there's still going to be a situation where we have these women that are still going to sign up to be a baby mama 3 or 4 to a guy that don't have a net worth like Cam Newton's. So I think this is just a mentality of certain kind of women when it comes to willing to be a sister wife. I mean, I've talked to girls before, man, where they're getting up there in age. At this point, they're looking for a donor. All right, I don't know how old this woman is. We could fact check it or what have you. But once you start getting, I would argue she's in her 30s, but she might be in her late 20s. But when we're dealing with this type of stuff, like I don't know, you don't know what type of mindset a woman has. I mean, I've talked to women where they said, look, at this point, I'm gonna have a baby by this age, whether I have a man in my life or not. So, there's all kinds of mentalities and all kinds of things that play into why a woman would do such a thing. But to her point, there are a lot of people in that audience and on the internet that would have been like, girl, you crazy. Baby mama number 3, child number 6. How much attention? How much this he can give you? And blah, 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 whoop, do, whoop, do, whoop, whoop. Girl, that couldn't be me. And her response to those women is, have you ever had that happen to you? I've been in some wild situations in my life that I never thought I would be in until I got put in that circumstance. And it's like, oh, this is what I decided to do here. Whoa, snap. I decided to do this. Like, I never thought I'd be here in my life. But I had to be put in a certain situation in order to be doing something that I didn't think I'd be doing. So from there, I realized that I can't really be judging people out here. Now, there's some stuff you can't judge. It's like, nah, bro. I don't care what the circumstance is. All right. You didn't have to go to Diddy's private party. All right. And if you did go to his private party, you damn sure didn't have to go in his room. All right. So there's some stuff that I can't justify. All right. But at the same time, there are some things that, hey, man, reconsider. How would you feel? And so for her and this brand of comedy strictly has to be for women. The only people that would really find this funny is honestly women. Because guys would be like, ha, yeah, but women are the ones that, girl, you got a point, girl. Yeah, hey, my baby daddy, I'm the 3rd baby mama, and he ain't got Cam Newton money. And so, by the way, I was looking up Cam's career earnings, and his career earnings was approximately $133 million over that span. So I'm pretty sure he's in a comfortable position, hopefully, with that. So, so I can't be mad at her, although I find, publicizing this and turning this into its own cash cow a little distasteful. But
I'm sure he's in on that. I'm sure he's in.
I think he is, because from what I've seen from Cam Newton, like I said, if I think I know him like I think I know him, I don't think this bothers him.
No,
I think this is just part of course, and her doing this is her looking out for his child eventually with the money that she gonna make and all this other weird stuff. So, hey man, when you up there on that ladder and you're doing all this other stuff, apparently it's different rules apply. Yeah. So I can't be mad at this as much as I want to be. But there's a lot going on with this.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it either. And I mean, Cam Newton is a showman. He's like he strikes me as an all publicity is good publicity type guy. He's got his own YouTube show. So he's out there.
Uh-oh. Was that me or him? Most likely me. I don't know. Let's see. I tell you what. It's very much possible. I don't know what's happened. Oh, there he goes, the man of the year.
I'm at the mercy of the internet. I
Uh,
don't even know what to tell you.
I thought that was my on location stratification going down. But hey,
No, that was me, man. This Miami internet has been very, very unreliable, unfortunately.
that's that Comcast. What you doing? Leave
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's all
But
good.
I think the last thing that I was saying was I think there was one contract that he signed with the Panthers where he reset the market. I don't remember exactly how much money it was, but be that as it may, he is undoubtedly in a position to be able to comfortably do such a thing. So, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I think I told this story before, very, very quick. It's not even really a story, but when I was still living in Tallahassee, there was this girl who used to work the reception desk at the barbershop that I got my hair cut from. And she and I would have conversations from time to time. Eventually we started following each other on the socials. And so I would see her make posts and whatnot. And it became very clear to me that she was, a bit on the ratchet side, which, it is what it is, to each their own. But she was like this was like maybe about 10 years ago or so. And this is what kind of showed me for the first time that, like, being a baby mama is something that certain women anticipate. So, there's this idea that, what the idea, traditionally speaking, that, you meet a guy, maybe you get pregnant and blah, 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 get married, whether there's marriage involved or not. But the idea is usually in the minds of a lot of women that they're not necessarily going to be a baby mama. If they end up being a single mother, it might be because the relationship or the marriage didn't work out, but that wasn't the intent going in. And this girl was the first girl that who kind of helped me see that there's a decent amount of women in the world who kind of anticipate becoming baby mamas. Like the notion that they're going to get with a guy who already has kids by other women, and she's just going to have her child with this dude, and that's just kind of the reality that they come from. It's an expectation that they have for themselves that I didn't know was a thing. So I don't know what cloth she's cut from. I don't know what her past is, but I do know that that's a thing. Like and not even the thing that you're talking about, where you have women who get up there in age, and so they're exploring alternative means like surrogacy and stuff like that. No, these are younger girls who just feel that way about life. Like they see themselves at some point becoming a baby mama, like having a kid out of wedlock, like on purpose. So, that's another element of this. Again, I'm not going to say that that's where she's coming from, but that is a thing. That is a thing. But at the end of the day, the way I look at it is, for me, I like what she said because she wasn't sugarcoating nothing. She was making it she was making it clear, like, look, I know how this looks optically. This is his sixth kid. I'm the third baby mama. But bro, Cam Newton is wealthy. And for me, it wasn't even. It was a decision that I didn't even have to think about. He's a rich dude. Rich dudes operate by different rules. There was the idea that I had to, not consider this just because of the parameters that were involved was not something that I was thinking about. He was rich. The legs went open, and that's as far as it went. So, I would prefer that if other women were that honest. Honestly.
Yeah, hey, to each their own, and it seems like they're happy together, apparently. So, hey, if they have an understanding, I ain't got no bones to pick with this. This is how they feel and how they want to live. So, more power to them. But honestly, I only think the people that will find this type of stuff funny would just be women. So, I think she's catering to her target audience. I think those are the ones that are going to go see her shows and laugh along with her. But hey man, there's a lot of women living in this lane and in this lifestyle, man. So not so much similar to the last topic, but in the sense that women got their own stuff going on, man. They got their own little universe right now. They all making their own little money. They all doing their own little things. They popping up in different industries. So if this woman has baby mama humor, hey man, Hey, carve your own niche. Hopefully
Yeah.
she, this takes her to the moon. But for me, it's not my brand of humor. I understand it. More power to Cam. Hopefully this was intentional in some capacity. And if not, man, still rock on, Cam. He's an interesting
Yeah.
dude. He is a very interesting man. I say that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he is a part of all of that. I'm pretty sure she's not going around doing skits and framing her whole comedy tour around the fact that she's baby mama number 3 without him
Crazy.
being involved. I'm pretty sure he's involved, and she's 34 by the way, so she's got skin in the game.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, shouts out to Cam. Good luck, bro, on your growing family. Baby number 6 with baby mama number 3. It's not for me, but to each their own.
it's a beautiful thing. Hey, and while you guys are at it, man, make sure you guys hit that like and subscription. All right, you know what I'm saying, and leave us a comment, guys. How do you guys feel about Sir Cam Newton dropping that load off and baby mama number 3? I didn't have to say it like that, but I had to.
Yeah, it's pretty good. All right, now we have Doja Cat here. Doja Cat went viral for admonishing the white crowd at her show by telling them that they have to edit themselves when the N-word comes up. So she was recently at a show and she told white people to watch their mouths. What's the name of this show that she was performing? The name of the song is Ain't Shit. And I'm assuming that this song is about dudes who ain't shit. And apparently she uses the N-word in the song. And at this show, she wanted to make it clear that the white people in attendance were not allowed to use the N-word. They have to edit themselves, self-edit. So here's a little context here, because of course we never put words in these people's mouths. We let them speak for themselves. So this says Doja Cat warns white people to watch their mouths during concert. Doja Cat is currently killing it on her Scarlet tour across the United States, which has brought us no shortage of great, wild, and notable moments. Most recently, she prefaced her performance of the track Ain't Shit with a bit of a warning to the Caucasian people in the crowd. Quote, watch your mouth if you're white. The rapper and singer expressed right before she broke into the chorus, which contains the use of the N-word. Of course, this is notable given her own controversial experience with racism accusations, but nonetheless a cheeky way to address a prevailing issue with white people's consumption of hip hop in social settings. Furthermore, it's exactly the kind of aloof acknowledgement of it that we'd expect from Doja Cat. Her charisma and character on stage are quite infectious to witness, especially as her repertoire and range of performances increases. For example, promoters announced the Los Angeles native as a headliner for Portugal's Rock in Rio Lisbon Festival. With these and many more exciting shows down the line, we're sure that she will only continue to establish herself as a dominant stage presence and as a must-see live act. So here is her going in on the white people in her audience, telling them not to use the N-word. Very brief clip.
Watch your mouth, you white.
Oh,
Look at what you did. Listen to your
that song sound trash, bro. Hey, I'm just being honest.
Oh, so there you go. Like that line too from how they said that. Let me read that again. This is notable given her own controversial experience with racism accusations, but nonetheless a cheeky way to address a prevailing issue with white people's consumption of hip hop in social settings. Interesting way to phrase that there. But this went viral, obviously. So, what are your thoughts on Doja Cat telling the white people in the audience to watch their mouth?
So I'm gonna go ahead and drop this on in here as well. because she also gave an apology. All right, she said, "I'm so fucking sorry, New Jersey. I don't know what the fuck that was." She wrote on her Instagram story, "I'm really not happy with my energy tonight." All right, so she also followed it up with that, right? But at the same time, all right, at the same time, so Doja's mixed, right?
Yes.
So she's coming from both ethnic backgrounds. So that's kind of like a black card, if you will, to say anything you want about either race. If I was a mixed person, I would be growing up in a world where um, I'm mixed. Hi, black people. You ain't black enough. I'm mixed. Hi, white people. Whoa, you got too much Negro in you. So then you grow up in then you grow up in this weird purgatory of social norms where you don't even know where you fit as a person. Hence Doja Cat's entire personality. Just a confused human. So she can make a statement like that and then turn around and apologize. She can do the stuff that she did where she's making songs based off racial slurs towards black people and just, move the other way. She does her own little thing. So honestly, anything that Doja Cat does at this point, whether it's racist or sexist or anything, I will stick with racist. Whether towards as black people or Caucasians, as that article stated. All right. If she's doing either one, I think you kind of have to give her a pass. Honestly, if I was a mixed person, I would be the most racist comedian ever. I would just be racist towards white people, racist towards black people, and it's well documented that I'm biracial. Like my name was Logic. I'm biracial, guys. So I can make jokes about white people. Haha. Hey, I'm biracial, guys. I can make jokes about black people. So for her to actually say something, don't say this white people, she's talking to her people. So I don't see if there were anybody that was up in arms or upset about this. I really don't see how they really could. But be that as it may, black people still get mad whenever she does something that's racially insensitive towards them as well. So, but I think she gets the mixed card. And honestly, if I was a mixed person, I'll be racially offending everybody. So I really don't see anything. I get her shtick now, and it's actually I'm starting to warm up to starting to laugh at it instead of being upset with her, because what else is she supposed to do when she's grown up in this world that she wasn't accepted by either side? So if she tends to make some racially insensitive jokes to either side, whether they're Caucasian or African American, I don't want to say that she's entitled, but I definitely get where that energy is coming from. So what about you, sir? How do you feel about Doja Cat? What are your thoughts on her telling her white constituents to not say the N-word?
Yeah, my thoughts on that is good luck with that. Most of the biracial people I know culturally identify more as black. In my experience, and I've known a lot of biracial people, and most of them I've always looked at them as black, and they've always looked at themselves as black more than whatever else they are. I think, generally speaking, most biracial people, unless they look more white than black, and most biracial people tend to look more ethnic than not, they are usually fit into the bucket of black.
Agreed.
And grow up identifying themselves that way. That's what I've seen. So I feel like Doja Cat, because going back to like Jim Crow, what was the rule? 1/8 of genetic material, and the government looked at you as black. So it didn't matter whether you were. It didn't matter. Well, you could be. I don't know how 1/8 breaks down in terms of a 100% scale, but you could have been whatever the rest of you is as a Caucasian, but that 1/8 is black. During the Jim Crow days, you were actually identified legally as a black person. So That's just a little, history behind that. But yeah, I think most biracial people in the modern day identify as black. I think the world looks at them as black. I think culturally they identify as black for the most part. And so I think Doja Cat, even though based on some of the interviews I've heard her do publicly, I've gotten the sense that at times she deals with a bit of an identity crisis issue
Yeah,
there, depending on the season.
yes,
But for the most part, I think that she looks at herself as a black person for the most part.
agreed, agreed.
And because she looks at herself as a black person, she feels emboldened to carry the mantle, right? So she's gonna be up on stage and she's gonna be telling white people to wash their mouths with the N word, and whatever. If she wants to do that, that's fine. I just think that it's ridiculous. Good luck with that.
Right,
It ain't gonna work because, and this is one of the issues that I've had with the word and why I've stepped back from using it personally, because there's too much confusion around it. And I'm gonna use my basketball analogy again. Like, you can't, like, if I like basketball, right? The NBA cannot tell me that I can buy jerseys and buy tickets and go to games and buy shoes and buy all of this stuff, buy all of the paraphernalia. Like, it's okay for me to buy season tickets, but then turn around and you want to tell me that I can't actually purchase a basketball and go play basketball. Like, if you're telling me that I am well within my right to monetarily support something and be a part of it, I'm participating in the ecosystem through my fiscal support, I'm spending all this money, then you can't tell me that I can't actively participate. You can't. You cannot tell me that I am not allowed to be an active participant. Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of people disagree with that. I don't. I live in the world of practicality. I don't live in the world of rainbows and unicorns. In the world of practicality, when people are able to support something with their money, implicitly, they are also being told that they can actively participate. You can't separate the two. You can't tell someone you can't tell someone that they can spend their money, but they can't participate. You can't tell me that I can spend money, like, buying drinks at a restaurant, but then I can actually spend money to eat the food that the restaurant serves. Like, you can't separate the two. Like, in no world does that practically make sense. So all of these, what the hip hop industry has done, through they've made the N word a commodity that they sell in the music to people who aren't black. I mean, I'm not. This isn't an opinion. Like, that's a fact. I'm not giving you an opinion. That's a fact. They've commodified the word. They've made the word a product that they package in the music and sell to everybody. There's no label on the music that says only black people allowed to listen. It's sold as a product to everyone else. So you can look at this in through your rainbows and unicorns lens and say, well, in a perfect world, white people can listen, but they just need to be responsible enough to edit themselves. Okay, that's a very cute and rainbow and cuddly way to look at it. But in the real world, in the practical world, they're spending their money on this thing. They're listening to this music 24/7. That white kid is at the gym listening to NBA YoungBoy while he's working out. Okay, that white kid is listening to NLE Chopper while he's studying for his midterm. Okay, that white girl is listening to Megan Thee Stallion while she's doing her squats. These people are using the N word in all their music. What do you think they're doing while they're listening to it? Editing themselves in private? So this to me is silly. I get where Doja Cat is coming from. She tries to pick and choose the times in which she's going to be pro-black, and that's what most people do. They cherry pick. I'm not going to criticize her for that because I'm well past that. I don't even care about that stuff anymore. Really, it doesn't. I don't really care. So I get why she would say that, but practically speaking, it doesn't make sense. These people are buying this stuff, and if you want to look at any metric or number, white people are spending money on this stuff more than black people are. Especially if you factor in things like music festivals, like go to South by Southwest, go to Bonnaroo, go to Coachella. There's more people who aren't black at this stuff than black people, in part because of how expensive it is to go. So, like, you can't tell these people that they have to edit themselves. I think people like Doja Cat need to get used to the reality of the world, which is they're already using it. Ain't no need, there ain't no use in getting mad about it. If you want white people to not use the N word when it comes to the songs, don't put the word in the songs. And if you still want to put the word in the songs, I don't know, put a label on it saying white people shouldn't be listening to this. I don't know. My point in saying all of this is there is no solution to this. So I
Yeah.
think people need to get over it.
Yeah, I think like the N word for white people, in my opinion, it's like the red button you shouldn't push. And it's, hey, don't touch that button over there. They kind of get like, come on, bro. Like, it's such a fun word. Listen how you guys use it. You guys use it as a term of endearment. I'm just trying to use it like that. This is my nigga too. Hey, like, excuse me, sir. Right? We'll be quick to jump. Right? What do you mean? This is your N word. But hey, man, let them have it. Personally, I don't give a damn. Especially if they're singing it in song. I really don't care then. So now I know that they're relishing in that moment. Whenever they can freely, if you will, use the N word. What? He said it. It's kind of like me, man. When if I'm playing music out loud and somebody's using derogatory terms towards women, they're just saying, I got bitches on deck or whatever. If I'm around a woman and I'm retorting that, I don't say bitches. I'll mute. I will not say that. I'm not saying, yeah, I got bitches. So obviously, I got on deck. What I got on deck? Who got what on deck? So I'm not gonna. It's kind of like a respect factor kind of thing. I feel like if there was white people hanging out with a whole bunch of white people at a Doja Cat concert, which 80-90% of them are, 95% of them are white. Don't tell him not to say this. He's sitting right next to his compadre. He wants to say it too, or she wants to say it too. Let him ring that thing out. So me personally, I don't get so bent out of shape about the word. A word that can change your mood, you gave too much power to that word. So I don't care who calls me an N-word. It can be a black person, a white person, Chinese, Indian. If you want to slur me, I would be the fool if I got upset by that person using a word towards me. So I don't really get bent out of shape about it anymore. We've had conversations about this before where, we've talked about it, but I had to grow up and out of that. But I was raised in a world where you should be offended by that. You should be offended by that. You should be offended by that. It kind of does. It is like somebody calling me out of my name. But at the same time, that's the only amount of oomph I give it. So somebody can call me an N-word or a bitch or whatever. Like, it's the same level of, oh, you just tried to disrespect me, but you just tried to use a word to make me upset. So that's why I really don't care about the word anymore. And that's for anything, people. If there's something out there where it's invisible and the world tries to tell you to be upset about it, there's no immediate threat. There's nothing going on. Somebody used a word. Just let that run off your back like some water, man. It is not a big deal. So for Doja Cat, who is biracial, she can play these cards however she wants, do whatever she wants, and I can't be mad at this type of stuff anymore. So yeah, man. Be that as it may, let them have at it. I don't mind. I thought it was funny. I laughed at it when I saw it. Just her just calling them out. Don't say this. But I think even her fans at this point know who she is, and it should be pretty much tongue in cheek. Everything that she does, everything is a shtick. There's nothing really serious about anything Doja Cat does, and that's why I was telling you when we was doing a rock video, let her run as president or at least VP. Not now.
Yeah.
But hey, in 30, whatever, let her run and do something, man, because I'm starting to find her shtick hilarious because of how it rubs people the wrong way. She's just a troll, man. And so that was just another troll thing. And so for the internet to get up in arms about it, if they are, they fell right into her Doja Cat trap. So
Yeah. I don't think the internet is up in arms, but the clip went viral because, you know, it started this discussion around, that's why I read that last sentence, white people's consumption in social settings of, and it's like, look, man, y'all put the word in the songs, you put the word in the music, and then you sell it to people. What do you want? It's like, okay, I sell dope. I'm not gonna sell dope to somebody and then tell them, "Hey, man, don't do those drugs." Like, how much sense does that make? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Practically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. And we're talking about the use of the word within the context of the music. And are there extremists and people who do wish ill intent when they do use the word? Fine, yeah. I don't think any of those people are at a Doja Cat show. And I think most of those people who are at that Doja Cat show, they're singing the song to themselves when they're not at the show. And if they're at the show and they're singing the song and they're not editing themselves, it is what it is. You put the word in your own music. There's no label on your album saying white. There's no disclaimer on any of Doja Cat's albums that says white people need to edit themselves when I say the N-word. Or better yet, white people need to not listen to my music because I use the N-word. Like, what is this? Right. Like, hey, white people don't buy my stuff. I use the N-word. Hey, white people don't use the N-word. She ain't going to risk that. She's not going to risk alienating white people because that's alienating the bag. So I feel like we try to have our cake and eat it too when it comes to this thing. We want to be able to run roughshod on how ubiquitous the word is, but then get mad when people want to use it. Pick a side. People need to pick a side. If you don't want the word to be used by white people, don't put it in the songs. Don't put it in the songs. And because if you put it in the songs, that tells me you really don't care. Because you're selling the music to everybody. You're not just selling the music to black people. The music is for everybody. The second that this thing became a major genre, the second that it ceased to be a subgenre, in my opinion, you relinquished your right to be mad when people use the N-word in music. You gave that up. You put it in the music. So people need to take a stand. I'm tired of this wishy-washy, we're going to get mad at this, even though we're the ones who are responsible for creating the environment for this type of stuff to persist. You're all over the place with this thing. You created this. If you don't like it that much, stop putting the word in the songs. She has that word all over the place in her music, so just live with this. Now, maybe she was being tongue-in-cheek and just trying to be funny, but I think she meant that shit. I think she meant part of it. She meant that. And you know what I'm saying? I feel like she was making a statement with that. She was doing the right thing. That's how she feels. But it's like, practically speaking, that don't make no sense. To me, it don't make no sense. But hey, good luck. If you want to be a SJW and, tell white people not to use the N-word, even though it's all in your music and the music is meant for everybody, white people included, I say good luck with that. That's pretty much all I can say.
Yep. And if I was biracial, I'll slur both sides. I use both my race cards and slur both sides, but I ain't say nothing because I belong to both. So shout out to Doja Cat for flexing her biracialness in order to use the slur that she always wanted to. And she's conveniently black when she wants to and conveniently Caucasian when she wants to. It's a great thing. So instead of being mad at it, guys, let's just laugh at it and let people who are biracial have something of their own, because white people got their own thing, black people got their own thing. Now we're having this new amalgamation of people called biracial and mixed and all this other stuff. Hey, we're in the melting pot, guys. So whenever there's this type of stuff going on, let those people have their thing and let them slur whatever side of the family they're from. And if they're Mexican and black, hey, go for the Mexican jokes. Hey man, if you're Asian and white, or hey, go for the Asian jokes. That's your special card. That one part about you that feels like you don't belong to either community, you actually belong to both. Slur both their ass. So whenever Doja Cat does her thing now, I let her have at it. She's black one week, she's white the next. Who gives a damn? It's all comedy in my book. So slur on, everybody. I'll be not slurring at home. I do not do that.
Yeah, I think this is it's just I think this is silly. Why are we still every time I'll be like, why are we still talking about this? Whenever black people get mad, I'll be like, why are we still mad about this? What are y'all mad about? Like to me, in order for you to be upset when that happens, when a white people uses the word, it shows me that you don't even know where the feeling that they can use it comes from. Because if you knew where that came from, if you knew where that came about, you wouldn't be getting upset because you'd understand. I get it. And I just think we just pick and choose. We so wishy washy with this stuff. It's funny. It's so funny. And we grant licenses to people to use it because you got people like Cardi B saying it. Cardi B's not either black or like Cardi B's Dominican. She's 100% Latino. She can use it. No one gets mad at her for that. Why not?
Or Fat Joe.
Or Fat Joe. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now, I have noticed DJ Khaled doesn't say it anymore. And I think that's intentional. But when DJ Khaled first came out, he was saying it all over the place. Ain't nobody say nothing. So y'all, yeah, y'all picking and choosing who's allowed to do this stuff, and it's weird. It's goofy to me. It really is.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, shouts out to Doja Cat.
Sure.
All right, next up, we're going to talk about Snoop Dogg a little bit. So Snoop Dogg is diversified his bonds. Certainly, he's in the NFT game. He's making money all over the place. Interesting bit of sound came out of Snoop Dogg recently when he talked about how, despite the fact that his music went over 1 billion streams on Spotify, he was only cut a check for about $45,000, which is kind of crazy. And we recently touched on this kind of dynamic when we talked about Terrence Howard a few pods back. Terrence Howard was paid like $20,000 to be the lead actor in Hustle and Flow, despite the fact that the movie made like $25-30 million, and it only cost like however much it cost to be made, a fraction of that, a mere fraction of that. Mm-hmm. So Snoop Dogg talked about what happened with his payout with Spotify, and it caught a lot of people's attention. So this article from Afrotech says Snoop Dogg claims he received a payout of less than $45,000 after earning 1 billion streams on Spotify. Snoop Dogg has revealed how he was able to win big with non-fungible tokens alongside his son after the low payout he received from streaming on Spotify. During an interview with the Business Untitled podcast, Snoop Dogg explains his initial hesitation with learning about the world of NFTs, especially when he was seeing many creators profiting off of his likeness. His son Cordell Brodus helped to shift his mindset, though, which proved to be beneficial. As Afrotech previously mentioned, Snoop Dogg, who became the owner of Death Row Records in February 2022, profited $40 million by removing the label's music from streaming platforms and making it only available in the metaverse. So we'll skip down here a little bit. The Death Row Records owner also explained how he assisted artists in the NFT space in achieving substantial gains, surpassing earnings from platforms such as Apple and Spotify by drawing from his own experience with the platform. He claimed that he received a check that was less than $45,000 after reaching 1 billion streams on Spotify. So we'll go and play this sound a little bit, and then we'll talk about that.
But let me tell you the thing that worked with me. It was simple. It was transparency. That's what the music industry and the film industry doesn't have. Mm-hmm. So this was a way to show transparency. Give me a song. Give me a song. Give me a song. I'm taking 60% because I'm putting it out for you. You're getting 40%. That may sound like a lot, but you just made $100,000. So in the streaming world, I can show you right now. They just sent me some shit from Spotify where I got 1 billion streams, right? My publisher hit me. I said, break that down. How much money is that? That shit wasn't even $45,000.
That's crazy. That is fucking crazy.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So it's like...
All right. So interesting to hear something like that. It kind of... enlightens us on the continuing conversation around the financial viability of the music industry and where that currently stands, particularly from for artists who don't diversify themselves and are pretty much relying on music to make money. So, what were your thoughts on Snoop Dogg talking about that? You know, a billion streams on Spotify and the check wasn't even $45,000.
Well, I think it's a racket, and I'm glad that somebody like Snoop Dogg, somebody with his catalog, his amount of streams over a billion. That's nothing to laugh at. All right, that is a lot of plays, and for that to not even equal $45,000, like I don't even know the short math on that. All right, but it's literally laughable. So whenever they constructed these streaming quotas, like whatever stream equals an album sale, whatever stream equals or whatever, like I was like, where y'all coming up with these numbers from? It sounds like these guys, these streaming services, got at some board meeting and really crunched some numbers, some algorithm AI type stuff, before everybody's gotten accustomed to that, but they really ran the numbers and was like, what's the best way we can screw all of these artists with them getting more plays than they would if somebody actually bought a CD from this person? There's some songs, bro, I ain't even gonna lie, with the access, with the with all of these apps where you can just listen to music and all this other stuff. Like sometimes, bro, if I find a song I like, I'm playing that thing all the time. And honestly, bro, if I listen to it more than 12 times and there's 12 songs on that album, that should be considered a purchase of the album, or whatever. Like I'd be listening to that. Like I forgot bro name. I had that in my YouTube music rap for the year. I forgot bro name. I'll pull it up on the next segment. But it's a Spanish dude. I don't know what he's saying, but all of his songs are fire. He was the top artist I listened to this year. I was like, oh snap! I didn't even know I was listening to bro stuff. Hopefully, I contributed to like 4 or 5 album sales with all of those spins that I was doing. But most likely, it probably didn't even equate to one. I think it was something crazy, bro. I was like in the top 1% of people who listen to this guy. Out of all the people who listen to him, I was like in the top 1% who listen to him like the most. I was like, damn, and I don't even know what the hell he's saying. But he's got bars. So anyway, but that guy should be getting paid for all of those streams that I was doing, but most likely he will not. So for Snoop Doggy Dogg, the man that everybody knows, whether it's grandpa, all right, or some Gen Z iPad baby, they know who Snoop Doggy Dogg is. They could probably name 2 or 3 songs. And this is for the layman. So you don't get any bigger, honestly, than a Snoop Doggy Dogg. And so for him to have a billion streams and for that to not equal 45K, it speaks to the racket that these streaming services has created for these artists. And I think the streaming service was honestly the nail in the coffin, because they've been screwing artists forever. But I think this was their nail in the coffin to forever, F over any artist that's coming out with anything. And so it's actually kind of sad. I was hoping that, Snoop was actually, ahead of this and getting more cash. I was hoping these billion stream people were actually making money, but actually they're not. It's an absolute travesty for the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that some of these people have put into their work for them not to be getting paid anything. So those are initial thoughts. What about you, bro? What are your thoughts on Snoop Doggy Dogg, the industry? A billion streams, less than 45K.
Yeah, if a billion streams gets you less than 45,000, then what does a million streams get you? That's crazy. Shouts out my boy Ahmad. He's one of my buddies that I holler at. We rap in the gym all the time. He has a history with making music. He's not a musician per se, but he dabbled in music when he was younger. He used to live in New York. Now he lives down here. And he explained to me why, because he understands this stuff. So he was explaining to me why it is that artists, when they release albums out now, why the songs are only like 2 minutes long, why the albums are only like 10, 11 songs. I was always thinking that these artists were making the music that way because they just got lazier, but he was telling me no, it has something specifically to do with how streaming metrics works.
Yeah.
And he was like, so it was like for every certain amount of seconds or something like that, it equals like a penny or something. So it's like the idea behind a 2-minute song with no, like you get one hook, two verses, the song is over. All of the stuff that I'll be complaining about with how songs are made now, like they're doing it because the idea is they're anticipating people's low attention spans combined with how the metrics behind streaming works. So if one song goes beyond 3 minutes, the likelihood that someone is going to leave that song faster, thus you're making less pennies on that song, increases. Hence the reason why the music is made the way it is now, where every song is like 2 to 3 minutes long and every album is like maybe 11 or 12 songs and you're done. The only time you see the traditional model nowadays is if it's older artists who come from a previous era who made their money, and so they don't care what money they make from streaming. Because like like I said, the earlier segment that we did with Nicki Minaj, the Pink Friday, there's like 19 songs on that thing.
Right.
That does not happen anymore. That's a rare thing, but she's kind of an OG at this point, if you really want to think about it, because she came out in the late 2000s. So those are the only people who are doing it kind of the older way that from previous generations. Nowadays, the music is neutered and watered down and shorter and less good from a quality standpoint, literally because the artists are trying to adhere to the metrics in the algorithm and the algorithms that go into being profitable when it comes to streaming. And so I'm not surprised to hear that because it is a racket and these people aren't making money. But it takes me back to my central point that I touched on with the Terrence Howard topic that we did. And it's why it's important to not be beholden to the slavery system, because now you're no longer a modern day slave just by working a 9 to 5 or earning minimum wage or working at a department store or a fast food place. Now you're a modern day slave even if you're a musical artist, because you're beholden to streaming metrics. And so the only way that you can combat that is if you have something that is yours that you can own and monetize and create passive income for yourself. So I hear where T.I. is coming from, where T.I. is trying to be a comedian. Because if T.I. for real, like if T.I. is a comedian, and I don't know if T.I.'s motivation behind becoming a comedian has to do with how much more difficult it has become to, you know, be profitable and flourish when it comes to music, strictly. But at the end of the day, him being a comedian is something that he can control and own himself in terms of his likeness and his act as a comedian. Booking shows, going on comedy tours, the venues book you. People still have to come out in person to go to a comedy show. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. I get why these people are doing this. I get why Snoop Dogg is doing NFTs, because it's no longer a long lasting, sustainable prospect to be profitable in the music industry, or at least by all accounts, that's what it looks like. Unless you're Drake or Taylor Swift, it looks like people ain't really making money off of the music that they actually release.
Right.
It looks like you have to release the music and then go and do shows.
Yes.
And if that's not what you're doing, you're not making any money.
Correct.
So you have to own stuff. So you own more of your ability, you own more of your own bird rights, so to speak, when it comes to making money when you're doing shows. And obviously, if you diversify your portfolio and you're getting into other industries that you can control, you own the patent to this, you own the right to this, you own the likeness to this. Hey man, then you won't be Terrence Howard getting paid $20,000 to be the lead actor in a movie, despite the fact that it made a profit of like 25-30 million dollars. Or you can pass 1 billion streams on Spotify, and you don't have to worry about the fact that you're only going to get cut a $45,000 check. This modern day slavery stuff is real out here, and it's got everybody in its crosshairs. It ain't just people working office jobs. It ain't just people doing 9 to 5. It ain't just people working in cubicles. It isn't just account executives and marketing coordinators and event planners. It ain't just people who work at Walmart. It ain't just people who are cashiers, the few cashier jobs that are left. It ain't just people who work in department stores. It ain't just people who work in fast food joints. Like everybody out here, unless you own your own situation, is a modern day slave in this slavery system, including these rappers. So, it's crazy to hear Snoop Dogg illuminate and give actual numbers to the dynamic when he points out 5 grand off of 1 billion streams, because that is a huge disparity.
Yeah.
A bill with a B, and my check is only 45 grand. I make more of that as a 9 to 5 person.
Boy, that's crazy.
What are we doing? Yeah, it's wild. So, hey, man, people got to get out of the slavery system. Get out of the slavery. We talk about that on this channel all the time. I call it modern day slavery. People get triggered by that word, but it is what it is. No one is compensated in a manner that is commensurate with the work that they put in. That does not go on anymore. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. It doesn't matter what lane you're in. I said before, if you are an engineer and you make $120,000 a year, you're still underpaid, because in all likelihood, your talent and your expertise and your level of productivity when it comes to whatever you do in the engineering space exceeds whatever your salary is, even if it's 6 figures.
Yep.
But this capitalistic slavery system is set up to jerk people on what they can get. So you have to have something that's yours. I'm not trying to, because I earn a paycheck. So I'm not up here being high and mighty, acting like I'm not a part of this. I work for a living, I earn a paycheck, but I'm also trying to build something that belongs to me. And I think that that's what people need to look at doing. And you speak to that all the time. Because if you don't look at that, you're going to be staring down the barrel of situations like this, and you're going to be victimized by it. And most people are victimized by it, including these artists. So it's real crazy.
Yeah, man. And real quick before I forget, this bro right here, man. Mikel El Buenon. El Buenon. Bro goes dumb, bro. So hey, just do yourself a favor and just randomly look for one of his songs. Bro go crazy, man. He got flows too, man. For man, I don't even know what he's saying. Yeah, man, I love that stuff. But well, one last thing. Agree with everything you said, bro. I just saw an interview. I don't know if you know Money Man. Money Man, he's pretty good, man. Chill dude. And so he was talking about how these labels and how they do things, man. If they give you a meal, bro, I thought you just had to pay that back. But you got to pay that back plus interest. So yeah, bro. So that $1 million deal, you got to pay them back like 6. 5 mil if you want to get out of it. So when we were growing up, man, we always heard that, oh man, they put me on the shelf. They're not letting me come out with no music. I got a 5-album deal, but they won't put my stuff out. And the reason being is you're not returning on their investment. And that was in the old racket game that they're doing now. And they're still doing that. And so now what they do with these artists is not only do they give them an advance, they sign these 360 deals where they're actually taking money from their shows. So the only way that artists can actually make money is from their shows and merch.
Yeah.
And now part of these 360 deals is they're taking the show and the merch money. So these guys who sign these stupid deals, these new people who are still signing these deals, like, why sign? I'll tell you why sign. Much like in our first conversation where we were talking about Nicki Minaj and these industry plants, you can come out with as much underground music as you want. Just be happy with that underground money. So do play those circuits, do your thing, work hard, collect all that money. Never want to go big time. But those people who go big time, all right, those people are in debt, if you will. Those people are in debt for as long as, as far as the eye can see. So So then that person has a choice to make. Do I want to be an industry cash cow, or do I want to be independent and, you know, make my own money, do my own show money? Most people, or the people that do choose, I don't want to say most people, the people that do choose to sign with these labels, to sign themselves over, if you will, you know, those are the people that we see in our thing. Those are the people that can actually reach 1 billion streams. And even then, they're getting paid less than 45K. And even then, you say, oh, it would make their money off shows. If they sign one of those stupid deals, them labels is taking a large percentage of their show money and their merch money. It is absolutely ridiculous. So what has happened with the streaming game and everything, they already had the game on lock with regular stuff. And then when they introduce streaming, it's on double, quadruple, padlock. Boy, you need a damn, what you call that? A flame, you know, a welding thing, like flame, like you got to melt the iron and stuff on the damn deadbolt. So they got this thing, you know, all the way through. And so that's why for somebody like Snoop Dogg, who's been in the industry for 30 plus years, for him to still be getting screwed over. And that's why him in this whole little interview, he was trying to find ways to circumvent this. So he himself or other artists can actually get money that's commensurate to whatever the effort that they're putting in. But hey, man, sign yourself over to these labels if you want. You'll be paying that debt off for the rest of your life. So super sad stuff, man. But hey, man, you know, never shake the devil's hand. That's what I always say, man.
Yeah, people need to just I think that I think technology has wrought more unintended consequences upon society than benefits. Personally, that's my personal opinion. So I'm not one of these people who thinks all of technology is great. There are certain things that I love. Give me Apple Pay any day of the week. I love Apple Pay. I don't even need a debit card anymore. Apple Pay has made my life so convenient. You know, so there are certain things that have made my life better that I don't think has just ruined society and the world. But you know, streaming is one of those things where you have to kind of take a look at the unintended consequences. And you know, it's made the consumption of music more convenient for people, but look at some of the detrimental effects that it's had otherwise. And I kind of feel like this is just the start of how these sorts of microeconomies are going to affect other areas of human existence that we can't even foresee because it's just years down the line in the future. We have no idea what that's going to look like. And, you know, that's why I take a stand on certain things. And I think people are letting themselves down with stuff like this. Like, you know, we can talk all day about how the artist is getting screwed, but if we really cared that much, then maybe we would be a little more principled and do things like go to the store and buy a CD instead of doing streaming. Like there are, but listen to what I'm saying though. My point, because I know that that's not realistic. I wouldn't even do that. But my point is, for the things that we claim to care about, sacrifices have to be made, and people need to take stands on certain things. You know what I'm saying? So whatever it is that we claim to care about, stands have to be taken on stuff. Of course, no one's going to go to Target and Walmart and start buying physical CDs again, because I'm not going to buy a CD player. I don't even know if they make those damn things anymore.
Oh, they really don't.
I don't even think they put CD players in cars anymore.
They don't.
Because everything is just auxiliary and USB and Bluetooth. But stands need to be taken. And it's like, if y'all want to really see these people thrive and you care about it, like, put your money where your mouth is. Like, uptick those streaming, you know, uptick those streams. I don't know. Things just need to happen because this stuff out here is interesting to watch how this thing is playing out. But 1 billion streams, and that only gets you $45,000 or less than that. That disparity to me is frightening. And I can only imagine. See, the people at the top, they ain't gonna feel this, but that's not the majority of the artists. The majority of it's like the NBA. Like, whenever they negotiate a new CBA or the contracts start getting inflated and these guys are getting supermax deals, $300 million. Like, Austin Rivers talked about this. That affects the mid-level player the most because teams are either giving out minimum contracts or super maxes.
Correct.
So if you're one of those players and you're trying to get a 5-year, $70 million deal, that mid, because there's this, stark contrast between the minimum and the super max, and teams are only trying to sign superstars, you're exiting out the mid-level player and you're forcing the mid-level player to have to take smaller. And that's what's going on in the regular economy. It's either you got it and you can afford to withstand this stuff, or you're down here and you're just going to die off because you can't evolve with it. And like, you just got to be able to evolve with it, figure out what your market is, whatever you're good at, and try to capitalize on one of these emerging technologies, because the opportunities are out there. You just kind of have to seek them out. But this stuff is happening out here, man. And it's crazy. I'm not the biggest fan of rap and hip hop, not the way I used to be, but I still don't think that a person who works hard and who puts in the work and creates something that's capable of being streamed 1 billion times should only be paid $45,000 worth that. That to me is insanity.
That's a joke, bro.
That's absolute insanity. So shouts out to Snoop. I think everyday people on the streets in our positions can help some of this stuff. Use social media as a platform, demand that these labels stop putting these artists over their knee and spanking them to death, making them bend the knee to these ridiculous demands. Stream the music as much as possible, support the shows, buy the tickets, because they are getting abused out here in these streets. And that is a fact.
Yeah, hey, shout out to Miguel El Bueno. You know what I'm saying? Keep rocking out, bruh. I'm giving you 1 billion streams myself, dog. You know what I'm saying? And diversify y'all music out there, man. I know I ain't the only person that listen to salsa music on the chill. So, yeah, man, diversify y'all music out there, man, and support real artists.
Yeah. I definitely was in the top 1% for Aaron Talos. I don't know nobody else who listens to Aaron Talos. He's a UK guy. Singer-songwriter, but I love his stuff. He's dope. So I definitely hear that too.
Oh, real quick, hit the like and subscribe, guys. While y'all at it.
God damn. Yeah. Oh man, now we got Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon was recently on his teammate Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast, talking about a litany of things. They talked about basketball stuff. They talked about off the court stuff, personal stuff. They also talked about women because, of course, why not, right? So what was interesting about this conversation was Aaron Gordon talking about how he went on a date and he spotted, when his date was going through her phone, he was looking at the last thing that his date Googled, and the last thing that his date Googled was his net worth. So this was the part of the conversation that got a lot of articles being written about it. So we'll go ahead and provide a little context first. So this from Complex says, Aaron Gordon says he went on date and found out she was Googling his net worth. In an interview with Michael Porter Jr. on his Curious Mike channel, Denver Nuggets forward Aaron Gordon recalled seeing a woman Googling his net worth while they were on a date. At around the 22:40 point of the interview, as seen above, Gordon was asked if he could ever see himself settling down. Quote, "Yeah, for sure," he replied. "I'll definitely settle down in 10 years. Yeah, I think I'll be married in 5 years. I've been in the NBA since I was 18, so I grew up in this. I've seen the ins and outs. I've done this, that, the third. It's exhausting. Being in the streets is exhausting. Being outside is tiring. I'm not saying marriage isn't tiring and exhausting in its own right. It is work, but if you find the right woman, it can be completely empowering. What's the king without a queen?" So that's cute, right?
Oh, hey, that's
No, I agree. I agree with it. I'm just saying that was cute. But here was that portion of the interview when they talked, where Aaron Gordon talked about his experience being on his date.
I think that's what it comes down to.
It's crazy because most of the dudes in the league, like, it get hard because most of the dudes that are married, kind of in our profession, they kind of met their girl in high school, and it was their childhood sweetheart who they got married to. Guys in our position, it's hard. Like once you have what you have and you are who you are, to meet a female who you can like trust and who you.
Man, check this out.
But look, he be going overseas, and he told me you got to go find one overseas.
Yeah, they know football over there. You know what I mean? They know soccer players. They don't really know basketball players like that. Check this out. I went on a date with this girl one time. I forget where we were going. Where was it at? Might have been in like Chicago or something like that. We went on a date. I got to the spot, right? We were just sitting at the bar, waiting for our table, getting drinks, whatever. She opened up her phone. The last thing she had on her phone was Aaron Gordon's net worth.
You know what I'm saying? See what I'm saying,
You feel me?
That's
I
sick.
was like, yo, this is wild, yo.
And females are
wild.
smart these days because they can put off an image to where like they don't care about that. They're not in it for the bread. They just have your best interest at heart. But man, deep down somewhere, like if you was just a regular dude, who knows if she'd be messing with you. So how do you think you can
Hell
tell?
no, Mike. I'm trying to tell you this right now. Just like you said, like when you get to this level, there's certain girls that mess with you just for, you know, like the clout, the money, that thing, the security. But no, there are real ones. You know, there's real ones out there.
I'm going
I'd like to believe
overseas.
shit.
I'm traveling with you.
Right, so-
That's cute, man. He still believes.
Yeah, man, he's holding out hope, man. He said he holding out hope, man. He say it's still real ones out there.
Oh,
You know,
that's
so
nice.
it's very, very nice and sentimental.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Hey man, I feel like what they're having right now in that conversation was conversations that we've had, you know, here where we were talking about, you know, pretty much the same thing, especially with NBA players and stuff like that. Where if they weren't the high school sweetheart kind of thing on some Steph Curry, on some LeBron James, if it wasn't on that, then it's kind of like, hey man, you know, be mindful of what's going on here. But to tie into the Cam Newton saga, right, where him and his, you know, baby mama number 3, because N-word who's got that bag, like Aaron Gordon, all right. So it's a situation where if he has that bag, a woman wouldn't mind being baby mama number 1 or whatever, number 2 or 4. They wouldn't mind getting married, riding it out for all the all expenses paid trips that she get to go on. Once he retires, call it quits. You know, the status quo. So, you know, Aaron, he seems like a, you know, a sharp young man. It seems like he's, you know, whatever, but his hopium of that this is going to pan out one day, that he's going to find a woman who's solid and thorough and not going to look up his net worth. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Gordon. I mean, I was wishing the best for him, but he's just in a wild predicament. So I found this both funny and sad. Funny from the aspect of, oh wow, it's, you know, these are guys that are on the front lines of this, and they're reporting live from the set and telling us that, hey, nah, bro, it's real in the field, and outside ain't no joke. All right. And the sad part about this is that, man, you know, what hope are people that are in his position, or not even, you know, just people out here that are dealing with this market that is putting such a heavy emphasis on a man's income versus his own morals, integrity, and, you know, how solid of a dude he is. So sad stuff, man. But hey, man, get to the bag, fellas. That's the bottom line there. What about you, bro? How you feel? How you feel about this situation?
Yeah, I go back to the point that I made when we discussed something related when Gilbert Arenas talked about how, I forget the number that he said, but he was basically saying most of these NBA players are going to, their girls are going to get smashed by a teammate or something.
70%.
Like that. The majority. So okay, that was a number. Yeah, and what I was saying was, hey, look, man, just wait until you retire before you even take this step. And I'm just going to reiterate that here. Uh, Aaron Gordon's pain, I feel it. I feel his pain. I get it. Um, I'm a civilian, and I feel a similar, approximate version of his pain, albeit I'm not in his reality. I'm not. I don't got as much money as him, but I still can approximate what he is feeling. I think that his sentiments come from a genuine place. I think
Yeah.
he truly believes that, what's a king without a queen, and that there's good ones out there. I believe he believes that. I believe that he believes that.
Poor guy.
And I think that what he should do until he retires is be a single guy and just sleep with as many women as he wants and be as casual as he can with as many women as he wants until he retires. Wait until you retire. Don't do it while you're an active player because it's too much of a cesspool while you're an active player. Now, even in retirement, you're still dealing with women, or rather, even after you've retired, you're still dealing with the prospect of opportunistic women who are more attracted to the profile of Aaron Gordon and less attracted to Aaron Gordon himself. You're still dealing with that even in the midst of retirement, but you
Yeah.
give yourself a better chance for more genuineness, for more genuineness if you are retired.
Hmm.
Because while you're an active player, it ain't no telling. I watched the Last Dance documentary. Jordan's talking about women waiting in the hotel lobby. I already know this goes on. Um, my cousin used to be plugged in through business with the Miami Heat. He was around this stuff. He saw what happened. He used to tell me this kind of stuff on the low about how these women are waiting, where they know they have the scouting report on these guys. They know the hotel that these guys are staying at. They know where these guys are. They know where to be, and they know just how to look to get their attention. Um, so it is what it is. This is the world that you live in. I think you give yourself the best chance of any kind of relationship stability by just riding it out and waiting until you retire. I said in the previous topic, you lose nothing by doing that. You're not risking anything. You're not risking anything. If you retire when you're 40, so be it. You're still a former NBA player. You can get with the baddest little 22, 23-year-old girl that you can find who's going to be fertile physically in her prime, and she is going to be with it. You lose nothing. It's not like you can't get younger women because you're 40. You're a former NBA player who's rich. You literally lose nothing by waiting until you retire. There's no point in there's no point in giving into the idea that you got to cash in on this while you're an active player. You're still in physical condition. You can still get any woman pregnant. You're probably still virile, even though you're, late 30s, early 40s. People are having kids now when they're older anyway, especially men. There's no incentive for a professional athlete, especially a great one like Aaron Gordon, to get into any kind of serious relationship or marriage while you're an active player. Just wait until you retire. It's the most practical piece of advice anyone in his position can heed. Just wait until you retire. The minute you retire, go ahead and take it seriously. Because as you pointed out when we discussed Gilbert Arenas' comments, yeah, you might be dealing with the idea or possibility of opportunistic women, but at least you know that you're not dealing with a woman who is gonna be shell shocked by any sort of particular change in lifestyle
Right.
based upon the change of the money that you got coming in because you're retired and you're no longer getting that max money.
Hmm.
So the money aspect of it is something that you can safeguard because she's going to have to come into it already accustomed to retirement lifestyle, not active player lifestyle. So at that point, you're still going to have to deal with the possibility that she may want to leave you to upgrade with a guy who makes more money or an active player or whatever. But hey, that's your reality, Aaron Gordon. You're going to have to live with that. You can't shirk that. There's nothing that you can do to sidestep that. That is just it. Unless you're going to go unless you're going to go to some local area and find the baddest chick in a small town or find the baddest chick working at, Bloomingdale's or Macy's, right? Like, unless you're gonna find a baddie who's working in Bloomingdale's or Macy's or something like this, if you're still gonna be fishing in the internet pool, in the Instagram model pool, in the social media influencer, in the the bottle service, in that world. If you're fishing in that world, you're gonna have to deal with that regardless. So there's nothing you can do about that. But at least when you wait until you retire, you don't have to deal with the possibility of feeling as though a woman was just in it because you were able to procure a certain lifestyle for her. And now that you've retired, you can't do that anymore. If she's getting in it with you post retirement, then this is what it is. This is post retirement. Ain't no more max money, ain't no more $100 million contracts. This is post retirement stuff, and it's going to stay like this for the rest of the duration. So I just think that he needs to chill. Yeah, I mean, Michael Porter Jr. asked him the question. So yeah, they're talking about it on the video, and that's fine. But practically speaking, bro, just wait until you retire. You lose nothing by waiting until you retire. Once you retire, go ahead and get a serious girlfriend, get married, start having kids. I don't know if he's a father or not. But the point is, wait until you retire. You lose nothing by doing so.
Yeah, and that's the last thing I'll say. And for these dudes, and I agree with that standpoint, just wait. Or what you can do is play chess with them. And these floors, all right, they're playing chess. Man, they're playing checkers, not checkers. They're playing chess, and so they're playing the long ball game. As Michael Porter mentioned, they play this whole thing of, they down for you, they all this and this and that, whoop whoop whoop. Hey man, they'll do this for 4, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, and then cash out on the back end. They'll do all that on you. So at that point, what's the king without a queen? Hey, bro, she playing chess. So if you are in a position of a Michael Porter Jr. or a Aaron Gordon, I would also either take your advice or also play chess with them. And me personally, since I'm the man and I'm the one with the cash, I'm playing chess with lawyers, contracts, NDAs. Like there's all this stuff, all of these things are going to be flying around. I'm going to have all three going on at one time. And they will always be going. I will check in with my lawyer, my accountant, everybody, just to make sure all my bases is covered. So if she decides to pull the rug, 2 years after I retired, I got surprises for her. That rugs got pulled from her ass. And I did it legally with lawyers, this, Drew. So that's my only letter of recommendation for these guys, basically creating or paying for an insurance policy so you don't get raked through the coals on the back end. So that's to protect yourself financially. How to protect your heart, that's a whole nother dynamic. You know what I'm saying? And if you decided to go for that bait, I'm sorry, bro. That was on you, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, those types of women, like you mentioned, that hang out at lobbies, the ones that's thirst trapping online, they're playing chess, bro. And so for Aaron Gordon to run up on a chick, if he ran up on Bloomingdale's ain't got the gall to be searching that. She just happy she's talking to a ball player. You know what I'm saying? She might look that up, but she's really excited. I'm pretty sure most likely on some Irv Gotti stuff that we covered before. You know what I'm saying? He probably DM slid on that. You know what I'm saying? BBL, you know what I'm saying? Mocha latte type chick, And so who knows, But yeah, play my letter of recommendations for the guys who have the bag and are looking to protect their bag. Much like how we spoke about in the last topic, man. I will have an ironclad. Much like how these major labels have this contract set up. Hey, girl, if you got to sign this 13-page waiver, you got to sign it. And if you don't, then you really don't want this bag anyway. I'll go find a Jasmine Brown if that's the case. So yeah, man. Best of luck to these guys. Best of luck to Aaron Gordon. But yeah, man, this is sad stuff for these guys they have to deal with. But it looks like Dogon is just taking over the stream. That's what it's looking like right now, because we're still recording live, and JV Wins had to pop out. Most likely that shaky Comcast connection. Now, we're not sponsored by Comcast, so I can throw them under the bus. And we're not sponsored by Spectrum either. If you're from Texas, Midwest area, spectrum is equally as shardy, with high and disgusting prices. But yeah, shout out to Aaron Gordon. Shout out to Michael Porter Jr. And shout out to all the charlatans trying to take their bag. Now, while we're also here, guys, make sure you guys hit that like, that subscription, leave us a comment. Now, if you guys are siding with Michael Porter Jr. on this, and you guys actually believe, all right, if you guys actually believe that hey man, there is something out there for me, if I'm a ball player or something like that, you guys let us know. Or if you guys are more on our side, please let us know that you agree with us that these guys should take precautionary measures in order to avoid these ladies of the evening. JV wins. All right, man. The connection of the century, man. I was just telling them that we're not sponsored by Comcast, so I just threw them under the bus.
Yeah, I've never had. This is the worst that my internet has ever been, and it's on stream. It's very frustrating.
Hey, man, it's all good.
Very, very frustrating. But yeah, you can continue.
Oh nah, bro. I was just feeling the airwaves, man, and just letting the people know to hit the like, subscribe, and leave a comment.
You were filibustering. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Oh, what Trina said in that song? She was filibustering that her vagina.
Oh, you're talking about in the yeah, I know. I don't remember. I have to look it up.
Hey y'all, watch that video we did with when we was covering the Trina video with Saucy Santana's when they was doing their little Democratic I forgot the name of that thing, but we
no voting, no vucking.
no voting. Y'all go watch that, man. Go dig in the archive. We smashed that one, but the algorithm didn't serve it up because it was a little too political. But y'all go watch that one, man. We had a good time for that.
Yeah. I hear Eric Gordon. Hey man, wait until you retire and protect yourself legally as well. I agree with you on that front as well. But the thing with the NDA thing is I'm doing that even while I'm an active player being single, is you're not going to post about me. Every time you come to my place of residence, you're surrendering your phone. You're going to sign a document that says you cannot communicate that we spent the night together. And all of that will be legally binding so that if you breach any of those terms, you are liable to be sued. So while I'm an active player not pursuing a serious relationship, I'm going to be protecting myself in those various ways for sure. But I'm not going to do anything serious until I retire. I just think that these guys need to just wait until they retire. Don't bother. Let it just wait until you retire. They're not going to not date you while you're an active player just because you tell them you're waiting until retirement. They're still going to date you anyway. You literally lose nothing by just waiting until retirement. You lose nothing.
Facts.
Okay, so for the last topic, we are going to get into Stephen A. Smith and Zion Williamson. In-season tournament championship was over the weekend. The Pelicans got dusted by 40 by the Lakers. It was an embarrassing performance. Zion was out there looking not like a professional basketball player. And, this week, most of the people on TV talking about this are talking about Zion's conditioning and his level of commitment. And so Stephen A. Smith was all over First Take talking about how Zion looks fat, how he was at the free throw line looking like he had a belly. And Zion Williamson didn't take too kindly to that. He has been defending himself in the aftermath of that. But Stephen A. Smith is not backing down. He says he has it on confirmed sources that Zion Williamson will eat the table. And that was what he said on First Take. So this article from Complex says Stephen A. Smith roasts Zion Williamson over weight concerns. Quote, he'll eat the table. Stephen A. Smith continues to rip Zion Williamson for not being in shape. Over the weekend, the ESPN host called out Zion for looking fat during the New Orleans Pelicans loss to the Los Angeles Lakers in the semifinal of the NBA's in-season tournament on Thursday. It was actually the final game, not the semifinal game. Oh, no, it was a semifinal game. They played the Pacers in the final game. My bad. Quote, you look like you showed up to the game having just ate a buffet, he said on the Stephen A. Smith show. Not something from the buffet. I said the buffet, like you ate the damn table. I wasn't going to touch on this because I was embarrassed for him, but then Sports Illustrated wrote about it, and the New Orleans Times Picayune, however you say that, local newspaper wrote about it. So it's public information. He's fat. So Stephen A. Smith, of course, doesn't mince words. And here is Zion's response to what Stephen A. Smith had to say about questioning his conditioning.
You think what Barkley and Shaq said last week, like, do you view that as a legitimate critique?
And what exactly did they say?
I mean, essentially it was like both those guys said we struggled with some conditioning stuff early in our career, and like that got better, and we see that in this game a little bit too.
If it comes from a great place and a place where they just want to see me do better, thank you. But if it comes from anywhere else, everybody entitled to their own opinion. Can't control that.
And just for you, what's it like when you just become like the topic of discussion for a lot of people, especially after a game like that, where a lot of people just talking about you and what's going on with you and stuff like that?
It's been like that since I was 16 years old, since I came onto the scene. You know, if I want to be one of the best players in the league, if we don't win in a big moment or something bad happens, then that's to be expected. And like I said, I'm glad we responded and just got the win.
Is there any of that stuff that you hear and you feel like is too far or they do too much or stuff like that?
At the end of the day, I can't control what no grown man do. Can't control what no grown adult does. All I can do is control the things I can control, lock in on myself, lock in on my teammates, coaches, and everybody with the Pelicans, the city, and try to win.
And I had the first question, but was it kind of on your mind that I could come out and want to really be aggressive and kind of make a point of playing well tonight after that Lakers game?
Yeah. That was a bad performance. It don't take rocket science to see that. That was not a good performance. From start to finish, they played better than us. And I say it all the time. We have a lot of potential, but we also have a lot of growth. And I think how we responded tonight was well, but I just think we got to be more consistent.
All right, so that was the understatement of the century, saying that was a bad performance. And you know, he's talking about how he can't control what another grown man thinks and so on and so forth. Now, when he initially said these things, it was believed that he was responding directly to Shaq and Charles Barkley, but he was actually responding to Stephen A. Smith. That's the person who he was actually responding to when he was talking about people criticizing him over his weight and conditioning and his commitment. So we've talked about Zion before. Floor is yours.
Yeah, we talked about Zion, and it was previously in the context of him dealing with internet slurs. Now we may have grazed on the fact that he grazes like a cow. We may have done that, but I kind of let him, go on that one. I didn't really want to harp on his struggles with his weight, but it is very apparent at this point. Watching him struggle to run up court. It's a wild scene, man. But at the same time, whenever he's out there on the floor, he tends to play pretty solid. But when it came to the in-season tournament, he folded like a deck of cards. And when last season, when they were pushing to either go into the playoffs or be in the playoffs, I'm not too sure the context. I think they were pushing to try to get in. I think it was play-in tournament type of stuff. You correct me if I'm wrong, but that's when he did the whole thing of, oh no, I'm available. I'm just not feeling like Zion. Zion, in my opinion, was a freak athlete in high school. He goes to college, goes to a loaded team, and he didn't really have to play outside of just be really athletic. He can be efficient, but when you get a lot of your baskets around the bucket, you're not really trying to do much. So, so him shooting over 50% from the field and stuff like that, it comes with dunking a lot and getting layups. But I was concerned when he got Duke. Even when he was at Duke, he didn't look like the same 16-year-old that got on the team, that was flying out of the gym. So, the concern started for me there. And now he officially looks like he's not in basketball shape. And on top of that, it looks like he's not ready for these moments. I really feel like he's just a front runner, just super talented kid that never really got a chance to play against real competition like that for real. And I think the reason why he didn't want to play last year when things were getting tight was because he didn't want to get exposed, similar to how he got exposed in this in-season tournament, where when the basketball court got smaller and you had to play basketball, he was nowhere to be found. I don't think that has anything to do with his weight. I think that has everything to do with his mentality and how he approaches the game. And I think how he approaches the game is correlated to his off the court fiascos that went on earlier this year. I think of how he approaches the game contributes to his in-game performance when games get tight and he can't perform. And I think how he approaches the game is how he's able to eat all these beignets and be a little too overweight. He's still a kid. He's 23 years old. He's still a kid in my eyes. He still has a lot of maturity to do. But when you're his size and his weight, you could be doing more damage to your body than good when you keep packing on these pounds in an unhealthy way. So I don't know the long-term effects that's going to happen with this, with knees, feet, ankles, toes, or whatever that can come down the line because of him putting too much pressure on himself. But yeah, I think that him as a person, I think he needs a veteran. I think he needs somebody, a mentor, somebody that can guide him down the right path. I see a lot of immaturity all over the place, and I don't want to throw him under the bus for gaining the weight. I think him gaining the weight is the lack of discipline that he's ever had in his whole life. And now that he's got a bag and now he got all these people that want to be around him, it's kind of hard to try to tell him to now do something that he should have learned in middle school or high school. So what about you, man? What are your thoughts on Zion Williamson, weight struggles, and the media dragging him through the mud for it?
You won't throw him under the bus, but I will.
No.
Yeah, I'll throw him under the bus, and the reason why I'll throw him under the bus is because of what you just said, because that's where I was gonna go. You, me, and our other friend, D Money, grew up playing basketball, and one of the things that we always used to say to each other, particularly when we got to college and we started to discover who we were as humans, we realized that. And we used to say this to one another: how you live life is the same way you play basketball.
Correct.
And we used to say that to each other all the time. So the way that you approach living life is reflected in the way that you approach playing the game.
Agreed.
If you live recklessly and make poor decisions, you're going to make poor decisions on the basketball court.
Agreed.
Take bad shots, not work on your game, not develop as a player individually. It's going to be and it's not just with sports, it's everywhere. The way you live life is also reflected in how you approach working a job. There's a correlation. People who cannot keep a job are the same people who maintain chaotic personal lives.
Agreed.
It's all correlated. This is who this kid is. And the reason why I feel so comfortably saying this is who he is, and when I say this is who he is, I mean this is who he is as a player. Meaning that's him. He's going to be overweight, not in shape, not in peak physical conditioning. He's going to look like something not resembling a top-tier professional basketball player, in my opinion, for his entire career.
Damn.
And the reason why I feel so comfortable saying that is look at how he lives. I correlate. Getting exposed, running up raw dog in porn stars. Okay, seriously. Okay, you got a porn star putting you on blast publicly for possibly getting her pregnant, and you've been running up in her raw, doing anything you can. Clearly, you don't have control of the situation because she's just blasting you all over the internet publicly.
Yeah.
She's a porn star, and you did that. And not only did you do it, but now it's out publicly because you can't control the situation. There's a correlation between one's decision to get into something like that and how you approach your career as a player. Now you done got a stripper pregnant. You in videos looking like a duck with this stripper making videos at a gender reveal party. This chick has been in previous videos pulling up her dress, busting it wide open on top of a table, and you chose to get this woman pregnant. You're now going to father a child with a straight up stripper who in circles is known for getting around dating football players and basketball players. Shocker. Otherwise, this chick is a stripper, and you got her pregnant in the midst of, at the same time, running up in a porn star raw. This is this kid's decision making. So there's absolutely a correlation between that and the fact that you don't even remotely resemble a professional basketball player who's supposed to be in peak conditioning. You're 23 years old. It is inexcusable for 38-year-old LeBron James to be running circles around you on a basketball court.
He looked like a left tackle, bro.
An out of shape left tackle.
Yeah.
Because left tackles can run circles around him. One thing about left tackles, they might be big, but they can run for days.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't even look like an in shape left tackle. It's pathetic. So I'm throwing him under the bus. You know me, bro. I don't throw the age card out there. Like, you're not gonna get that out of me. Oh, he's still young. Nah. Like, you're doing this stuff. These are the decisions that you're making. There's 100% a correlation between that and the state of his playing career. 1,000%. You can say what you want about LeBron, but LeBron would never in a zillion years be outed for getting a stripper pregnant and carrying on a relationship with a porn star, even when he was 23. So I don't want to hear the age card being played. LeBron was not doing that at 23. And look at LeBron, 38 years old, running circles around you, bro. This guy was in high school before you were born.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
and you look like an Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Get out of here with that. Like, I don't need a life coach to tell me to not get a stripper pregnant and to not get into a relationship with a porn star. I don't need a life coach to tell me that. I don't. He is showing that he has a clear propensity for horrible judgment. He is an undisciplined human.
Yeah.
And undisciplined humans do not know how to be professional. They don't know how to stay in shape. They don't know how to diet correctly. They don't know how to be in peak conditioning. They don't know. These things are skills. Those are learned skills. We don't innately come out of the womb with good judgment. That is a skill that he never learned. And now the chickens are coming home to roost on him. This is who this kid is. 100% with Stephen A. Smith. I think Stephen A. Smith is giving him the benefit of the doubt, which is normal. You know, that's typical. Stephen A. Smith is always like, you can be so great if you just did this. I think this is who he will be. And the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding. So you can dismiss his decisions when it comes to women all you want. There is a correlation. You live life the same way you approach professionalism. How you live life is the way you play basketball. Look at Antonio Brown. You mean to tell me Antonio Brown didn't have another 4 or 5 years left as a productive receiver in the league? He's a chaotic dude.
Yeah.
Done way before he should have been because he can't carry himself appropriately as an adult. So this stuff is all correlated. It is. If it was just about the game, people like Antonio Brown can keep playing despite the fact that he is a self-destructive person. Now, Zion Williamson is not self-destructive on the level that Antonio Brown is, but clearly he is prone to suspect decisions.
Yeah, he is.
And that's why he looks the way he looks, and that's why he's out of shape. And that's why I think this is who he is going to be for the rest of his career.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. I'm still holding out hope for this guy. I am, you know, but I held out for a long time with Ben Simmons till I gave up on him. I don't know what's going on with these new people. I don't know what's going on. But, you know, I do give him a benefit of the doubt because, you know, when I was a young person, even though I was in college or whatever, I was still I wasn't making bad decisions. I was just bumping my head a lot, you know, just, you know, not making the right ones, you know. And so, you know, just bumping my head a lot, you know, just trying to figure out life. You know, I have both parents. I had people that was cool. I had professors that I looked up to. But it was still a thing where, you know, I was still just bumping my head up against the wall. And it wasn't until I went through a few things, learned a few things that I was like, oh, that's why you should do that. Oh, this is this and that. Oh, and, you know, and eventually I was able to turn the corner. But yeah, man, 22, 23, 24, man. Yeah, you know, people say you ain't no kid no more. But when you're a man, you know, in North America with the conditions, because my thing is Zion grew up, you know, he was a baby in the 2000s, early 2000s. I mean, it's a different world. I don't know what these guys were exposed to. And it's similar to the whole Ben Simmons thing. I don't know what these guys are experiencing. You know, the Call of Duty kids, you know, the ones that just grew up with games and, you know, just, I don't know what's going on with that. But I feel like if there is a corner to be turned for those types of people, they would have to learn it on the fly, as we're seeing with Zion. And I feel like he's just learning on the fly. And this year, I think people just had enough. And they're just going all the way in on him, his weight, and all this other stuff. And so for a person that already looked like he struggles with self-confidence, you know, it was, you know, I still reserve something for those people that's like, all right, man, yeah, he's messing up publicly for everybody to see. But, you know, I'm not saying coddle the guy, you know, let him know, give him some constructive criticism, because I know I damn sure do. But at the same time, it's just like, understand that he's just a kid still. So hopefully, you know, I'm just being hopeful because I can hear it in his voice, you know, the shame and all these other things. And, you know, he has to live that life. And yeah, he can cry in his Ferrari, somebody would say. But at the same time, I you know, he's still a person. And I want this guy to be good, just as a person. So, you know, who knows what's going to happen. I'm wishing the best for him. Now, I know you're just being realistic, you know, not wishing, you know, but if you were able to, you know, put a money line on it, I'm with you, bro. If I got cash on this, he's following the trajectory you just mentioned. But me betting with my heart more than my head in this, I'm just hoping that, you know, somewhere down the line, light bulb clicks for this guy. So Stephen A. Smith, he is, you know, he's the piranha in the water. He's looking to do whatever to anybody. So he's the guy that's in movies, you know, that reporter that, you know, they just cut to the TV and a reporter's just dogging whoever. That's Stephen A. Smith. He's in real life. He's waiting to do whatever he's doing to Zion right now to anybody. And Zion's giving him the perfect stuff to do it. So he's having a field day with it. And it is what it is, man. But I'm hoping that young bro turns the corner and stop dealing with these damn porn stars and put down the deniers. And for him to say that he ate the whole buffet, come on, bro. You ain't gotta roast him, you know. No pun intended. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You'll be the optimism guy.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yes.
I just I don't know. I think that
No, you're calling a spade, bro.
I've seen too much already. I think I've
know.
seen too much. There isn't much of a precedent for people, even at his age, who
To
just
turn the
suddenly
corner like
turn
that.
over a leaf and just become a different human. But hey, listen, I am open to being proven wrong. Thus far in my life, my brief time on this earth, I can't trace many examples of being proven wrong in this regard. But hey, maybe Zion can be the start of a new ritual for me, in which I am more open to the idea of being proven wrong. But I just don't see it. I think he is too much of a slave to vagina.
Yeah.
And I've never met a guy who's a slave to vagina who just learned how to not be. I've never seen that before, and I think that his penchant for being a slave to vagina is directly correlated to the way that he approaches his playing career, his professionalism. There's a correlation between those two things. I'm not going to argue causation, but I will suggest correlation for sure. But I'm open to being proven wrong, because that boy, he sure can jump out of the gym and do his 360 windmills.
Not no more.
Whoa.
Getting off the ground, bro. Like, that shit crazy.
Yeah, good luck to you, Zion. I'm not rooting for you because I don't care personally, but I would like to see you stop making bad decisions.
Yeah,
I would
me
like
too.
to see that, because I think men in general, especially when we're talking about women, need to do better about making good decisions. So
Agreed.
that I do care about.
1,000.
But we'll go ahead and close out the stream tonight. Went a little longer. Technical difficulties on my part. I apologize for that, but I will certainly make sure that the individual video uploads on the channel will edit out the lull periods where I got disconnected. So have no fear, my dear. We will be all good. Go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If this is your first time experiencing what we do here on the Conscious Approach channel, go ahead and subscribe. We certainly appreciate you supporting our brand of logical content. I am on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. Conscious Approach is also on Instagram at ConApproach, CONAPPROACH. Like and follow the Facebook page as well. We also upload all the videos there as well. Your boy's on location, so I'll go ahead and let him close himself out. Thank you for supporting our logical content, and we will catch you on the next video.
Yeah. And the name is Dogon SS. You can find me on Instagram, all right, on location, all right, Dogon_SS, and on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on TikToks, all right. Now, I don't post no videos over there, but my comments are insane. Go follow me over there too, man. Dogon_SS as well. And as I say on every pod, guys, go Heat. Go Dolphins, go Hurricanes, and don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it flip, and don't let anybody get you off your pivot. All right. So until the next time, guys, hit like and subscribe, leave a comment. Sheesh. All right, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thanks to all the new subs as we continue to crank out this good stuff. Happy holidays to everyone. Hope you're staying safe out there. Fellas, make good decisions. And until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.
Peace. Go Canes, top 5 recruiting class. Skirt. Don't get mad now.